blue for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
Hey everyone, what is up? Today's topic is going to be about how to watch ballets online. So I wanted to give some tips on how I personally watch ballets, how I get to watch all of them. I know that it's really difficult. It's not for everyone, and it takes a while to get used to, number one. But I'm going to give you or leave you my tips so you can go through the ballet smoothly, and maybe you might be able to enjoy them, because I do know that it's hard to watch online compared to watching in the theater. I'll give a theater tutorial, but for now this is our online ballet watching tutorial. Alright, so tip number one, I would say, is to set your mood. I make sure that I don't watch ballets on the bed, because I have noticed that I do fall asleep. But when I watch them on chairs and just prepare some of my pillows or my favorite pillows, I make sure there's enough stretching space. So for example, I know this is weird, but I sometimes just like raise my leg onto the, I'm sure you dancers do this, like you raise your leg onto the window, and then one is like here. Oh my gosh, sorry. But yeah, one is, which reminds me, so sorry, my ring light fell down, but one is there, and then one is like on the couch, and one is here, or like I pull up a drawer and just kind of, I don't know, as dancers, we don't exactly sit normally, and then later on I'm going to be stretching, but setting the mood is important. I sometimes prepare like an essential oil maybe here. So let's turn that on. So yeah, I have some lavender, and then I can change the light or something. And then I can turn off my own lights, which is, hold on. And yeah, there you have it. Like if I turn off my light, it's like the perfect, oh my goodness, movie setting, like at home. And I think you do have to create an experience whenever you're at home, because it's gonna get boring also if you just watch in light and like you watch somewhere else. Well, I need that special help, like to set moods. So this is tip number one. Tip number two is prepare snacks. So I have prepared my own favorite snack, which I'm going to show you. So it's popcorn. Popcorn is my absolute favorite snack for these types of things, because it's easy to eat while you're stretching and it's not messy. So you can just eat and like leave it here or something. I don't know, and it's easy to just go through when you're watching ballets and you're just eating a really light snack. Sometimes I do fruits, but fruits and just this, and then I make sure I have a drink so I don't have to walk in it. Tip number three, it takes a while to get a hang of it. It's not like this where you can just be like, I'm gonna watch a full-length ballet today. I would suggest going through really short segments first, which I know people enjoy. But our goal is to watch a full-length ballet, because I think there are tons of things you can learn from watching full-length ballets, which I'm going to get to in a bit. Tip number four is to, maybe you could watch with your friends, or you could watch with a group of people who understand the ballet. I think that tip is really important, because for myself, I know that my sister, she likes to watch with me, because I can be like, oh, look at this part, like it's so nice, or maybe look at that part, it's really beautiful. I think when you watch with your friends, you get different inputs. But then again, it's also nice to watch by yourself, where you could point out your own things. You will observe different things when you're watching alone to when you're watching with your friends. But if it's your first time, I would suggest watching with your teacher maybe, or with your friend. Then you can both compare which parts you like, which parts you didn't like, or which parts needed like some kind of help. Tip number five is that, well, nothing beats watching shows live, but then I would still say it's still better to be watching something than nothing. I mean, like if you have a copy of it, or if you can get a copy of it online and you'll be able to watch, it's almost like theater experience. You just don't have the audience in the seats, but the fact that you get to watch it even like on the screen or on TV, I think it's still magical. of course, like the smells and the orchestra, those things you cannot recreate at home. But watching on TV or watching on YouTube, or maybe like buying DVDs, I would say is really good way to support the arts also. So I would say it's okay even if you're just watching online for now. I mean, like, we're gonna get back to the theaters soon, right? So yeah, just for now, just create the mood, just enjoy the show from your home, enjoy the space that you can stretch while you're watching your ballets, and then enjoy your food, like my popcorn, which I'm gonna continue eating. Okay. Wait. Alright. Hold on. I think I skipped like a tip, but then like tip number 6 or 7, I'm not sure anymore, is if you feel like you've enjoyed the show, I would suggest you clap. So I do like this, like for example, I do watch ballet and then I really loved it. I just go, wow, that was so nice. I don't know, it helps me, I guess. I don't know if they can hear it, but you can clap with the audience just to give you like an audience feel. If you don't like it, then don't clap. What's amazing is you're not pressured to clap or not to clap when you're watching online or when you're watching on your TV. At least you can clap when you like it, and when you don't like it, you can just, you know, it's okay. Finally, my last tip is to take notes. And it's maybe a me thing because I'm a teacher, so a ballet kind of nerd, they would say, or my friends would say. But I love taking notes on programs, and I'm not going to show you them, but yeah, because there's so many notes. But let's say I do buy a souvenir program, I usually take notes. So I do have my own ballet notebook, which I take all my notes on, which is somewhere there because I haven't watched in a while. But yeah, even when I watch online, I do take my own notes. So I observe like the sets, the costumes, what kind of styles or things that they use, if the choreography matched each other. I do observe like certain people that I like. I think it's nice because you can take note of like which act and which ballet you watch, and then you'll be able to take note of the people you like, and then you can search for them later on. For example, I watched one time like Romeo and Juliet, and then I really liked the character that played, for example, Romeo, or for example, Juliet, and then I can write it down, and at the same time I can remember. It's easier to remember them when you write them down on the spot, I know. So even when you're watching online, treat it like you're watching a show, because when I watch shows, I have my notebook all the time. So it would be nice to do the same, I think, when you're watching online shows. That way it does not get boring and you learn at the same time. Yeah, because a lot of times I think that, you know, you just watch and then you don't know what you're watching. I think it is important to, you know, like kind of get a grasp or get a feel of the emotions and like feel of the whole ballet and be able to take notes and observe it in your own way. You know, just don't overdo it. I think you can just observe like the little things like, oh, I love this part. I write down mostly positive things unless I really don't like the thing. But yeah, most of the time I do try to judge things objectively because, you know, these dancers work really hard. So I think it's important to also see it that way, that they work hard and sometimes there are things beyond their control, like the production, they couldn't control the choreography or maybe things like this. But if it's the style that they perform, maybe you can do your own kind of like, oh, I like this part where she went like this, or let's say she went like that. And I think that's a really nice way to observe ballets, to add into your own dancing style as well. And lastly, I think this tip is super important as well. I suggest if you don't know the ballet, you look it up online so you have an idea or a synopsis of it. It's really hard to watch a ballet without knowing what it's about, even if it's just like a main gist, like a little kind of like sneak preview kind of thing. So yeah, that's mostly it, I think, like for you guys. I'm gonna continue eating my popcorn, but yeah, I hope that helped you kind of understand like how I watch ballet videos at home. I can get through a lot in a day, and people have asked me how I do it because there's like, apparently it's like a talent to watch videos at home. I don't think it's a talent. I think it's just that I do tend to, you know, like entertain myself quite well, like set the mood and just eat popcorn and like be in a really comfortable position write notes. I think this way, if you watch ballets like this, you'd be waiting for what comes out next instead of just being like, oh, what's next, you know, because if you take down notes, you can connect things really well. And then the more you watch ballets, like the more you watch different ballets of the same kind, especially, you get to observe their differences. Or maybe that's just me being a ballet nerd. So yeah, so those are my tips for watching ballets at home, in your bedroom, in this pandemic. We're still in lockdown. Not everyone is in lockdown, or not everyone is in the same situation, but I would suggest you do like watch ballets, you know, at home. Take this opportunity to watch as much ballets as you want, because there's not going to be any better time for this than being in lockdown and enjoying your favorite ballets streaming. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed or learned from this vlog, and I hope to see you on my next vlog. This is quite an easy kind of hangout vlog, but yeah, I'll be posting up some more tips and maybe some tutorials also soon, and I hope you did enjoy. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye. For now, enjoy some popcorn.